Welcome to Dark Horizon Creations. I'm Mike. Tonight I have a very special video for all of you fans of G.I. Joe and the Classified series, and particularly those of you who are fans of Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. We're going to be discussing the Arashikage and their symbology. Now, if you haven't already, please follow, like, and subscribe to my social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get a notification of when I post new content. So if you watch Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins, you have undoubtedly seen this. And many people have asked what it is, where did it come from, what does it mean? And we're going to explain that tonight for those of you that don't know. Also going to begin with the Arashikage ninja clan, and I'm going to explain a little bit about their existence and why that's important. So for those of you that know nothing of Japanese culture and history, the ninja existed beginning in around the 1100s, and they were the byproduct of samurai who left the service of daimyo and began incorporating Chinese martial arts with Japanese martial arts. And the ninja were created to counter the threat of oppressive regimes under daimyo and shogun in Japan. And the way that they came about, particularly in Iga province, the families lived in villages high up in the mountains where they were isolated, and they began to develop arts of assassination, intelligence gathering, espionage, things like that. Essentially what they were the special operations of their day. That's essentially what ninja did. You know, they used alternate identities, they used disguises, they infiltrated enemy compounds, they gained intelligence on their enemy, and they exploited that by having a ninja get close to this individual or being able to breach their security surreptitiously and assassinate the individual, and then exfiltrate the area without leaving any kind of trace. And often they were able to accomplish that, and in one night a single ninja could change the balance of power in an entire prefecture. Sometimes they did encounter resistance, or they were caught in the act, if you will, and they would have to fight their way out. And they had developed many different techniques for avoiding conflict, if you will. That was their entire goal. They did not want to get into a sustained conflict. They wanted to be able to escape and live to fight another day. And there were essentially 18 skills that, or 18 areas of skills that ninja studied and trained in and had to master. And there were 3 different levels of ninja within a clan like the Arashikage. So the Arashikage, as the movie states, have existed for 600 years and protected Japan from threats without and from within. And one of the things about the Arashikage is that they use this symbol. And you only see this symbol on the right forearm of the ninja. You see it on no one else. And many people have asked what it is and where did it come from. The symbol itself is actually Chinese in origin. It is part of their Baigu, which is from a complex set of hexagrams. And this is actually the 63rd of those hexagrams. And these hexagrams are read from bottom to top. The top portion of this hexagram, where the lines are broken, means water, the bottom means fire. And essentially the translation is water over fire. The meaning behind that is that a prudent man would walk in discernment to avoid conflict if possible, which is what the fire would represent, the water representing knowledge and wisdom. In the Arashikage clan, each ninja is branded with this symbol. And as they progress through different levels of training, each line is filled in until they reach the top and the entire hexagram is filled in. So there's no more broken lines. And you don't even see that on Snake Eyes. You simply see him wearing the symbol of the Arashikage. So that is where it comes from. It comes from the Chinese book I Ching, is the 63rd hexagram of the Bagua. And you can go and do research and see the further, deeper study of why the Chinese developed that. And it may seem strange, to Westerners that the Japanese would incorporate Chinese symbols. But you have to realize something. When the Japanese were just, using a spoken language, the Chinese had already developed a written language as well. And many of the elements within Japanese culture were adapted from the Chinese. Another good example are the kanji, which are symbols that represent words. Those are actually Chinese in origin. The Japanese style of writing is adapted from the Chinese. So, and many of the elements that you find within Budokan and the unarmed hand-to-hand combat of ninjutsu is translated from Chinese martial arts. It's not Japanese in origin. That's where the original ninja developed it from. And there's a story that a samurai wandered into the mountains of Japan and came across a monk who taught him the ninja arts. But the historical accounts record samurai beginning the entire movement of ninjutsu. So when you talk about ninjutsu, you're talking about the entire martial arts system that encompasses everything that they do. Unarmed hand-to-hand combat is just a small portion of it. Much of it is dedicated to learning how to move your body properly, stealthily, without breaking noise, discipline, learning how to climb, how to roll, how to jump, how to use different implementations of different weapons, how to move across water using pre-positioned bamboo. And that's where a lot of the historical accounts of ninja walking on water come from. They would, when they were infiltrating somewhere, they would, over a period of time, pre-position large bamboo stalks underneath the water so it was just on the surface. And through their skills of balance and being able to walk and climb across trees and narrow walls and things like that, they would also bound across those bamboo stalks on bodies of water, which made it look like they were walking on water, and no one was the wiser. So there's a lot of history there with the ninja that's incorporated into the Arashikage. And when Mr. Larry Hama first selected this symbol to be used for the Arashikage, if what I've read is true, my understanding of it is that it was the easiest thing for him to remember, and he just, sort of picked it. A lot of times when they're writing and creating character backstories and things, they'll just pick random things to use, and I think that was possibly one of the reasons that he used this symbol. And of course, being a Japanese American and knowing Eastern Asian culture and history, he would have been aware of the Bagua and the I Ching, and that's where he got it from. So there's just a tidbit of information for all of you to better understand the Arashikage and their symbology, and why Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes wear this symbol, and what it means.